Hello YouTube viewers and random Doctor Who fans, I am Metal Light Sparkle, and today this is my first video, so I thought I'd review an animated classic Doctor Who episode, which is Scream of the Shalka. The Doctor in this story is played by Richard E. Grant, and the major villains are the aliens called the Shalka. The basic plot is that the Time Lords have sent the TARDIS to this small town in Lancashire, where this is under siege from the aliens called the Shalka, as mentioned in the title of the story. The Doctor is reluctant to the Time Lord's plea at first, but until until a lovely old lady just dies right in front of him, he's actually going to do it. And so he asks two individual locals, Alison Cheney and her boyfriend, what's really going on here. And he gets an answer when two Shalka drones burst out of the ground. He manages to delay them and then disorientate them by making a bomb, and the shockwave disorientates them. When he thinks it's all over, the Shalka actually steal the TARDIS by making it fall through the ground. And the Doctor, they try and get inside it. Their leader Prime tries to get inside it, but the Master, who's inside and who's a friend to the Doctor, not an enemy, manages to delay them by reflecting their screams back at them. So the Doctor calls on his old friends from Unit calls on Unit for help, and he finds out that the military wants to come with him to find his TARDIS, and he manages to lose them. Well, he actually did that deliberately, losing them. And he manages to get to the TARDIS, but the Shalka leader thinks that he's a lower creature, and they threaten to kill Alison, whom they kidnapped, unless the Doctor cooperates with them. Which he does in the end, which he's very annoyed at himself that he actually did that. So when the Shalka learn how to control the TARDIS, they no longer need the Doctor, so they throw him into a black hole. The Doctor calls Unit, but the Major isn't there, so he leaves him a message. And just as he's doing the last bit of the message, his phone battery's running low, and he really hates himself because he wants to have his last words for the universe. And he can't get them because he said battery low because his phone's running out. And so all he needs is more time. So the phone is connected to the TARDIS, and he uses his sonic just to get the phone to remember it's connected to the TARDIS. And he manages to make a sort of TARDIS portal door, and manages to get back inside the TARDIS and flush out the Shalka drones who've been inside the TARDIS. And he thinks Alison's dead, and so he says, I can't do this anymore. And the Master says, and yet you just did. You've killed it, and like you're saying, you've killed this one deliberately. And well, basically Alison is alive, but it turns out Alison is not dead. She has been sent back to the service by the Shalka with a mini Shalka in her head, which the Shalka used to control some people from her town to make them go to this remote location to start transmitting the scream. The Doctor, meanwhile, has gone back to the military and deleted the message he left for the Major. And they just learned that they've captured a Shalka because we find out that the Shalka are weak against oxygen, which they can't breathe, and that knocks them out. So, and they've been subsonically training the population to breathe volcanic gas, so they can transmit the scream through the humans. But the military the military and the Doctor go to where Alison's community is basically being forced to attack a warehouse. The Doctor manages to remove the Shalka from Alison's head, and then later on he reprograms it to plug Alison's brain into the Shalka network. And then we find out that the worldwide communities have been mobilized. The Shalka are using many people across the world to transmit the stream, strip away the ozone layer, and let the sun's radiation ravage the Earth. And the Doctor describes the Shalka as being predators, being death incarnate. And so when he gets back to their base for the final confrontation, their leader he manages to destroy all of them using his voice, because he actually eats the mini Shalka that was in Alison's head. And he learns from it because it links with his electrodes. And he manages to understand how their scream works, and he's able to use that to his own voice to defeat the Shalka. And their leader is sucked into the black hole and supposedly dies. And then the doctor used his voice again because Allison's mind alone is not enough to hold the Shalka off. He uses his own voice to explode the Shalka on the surface, and he's defeated them. He saved the day, and he invites Allison into the TARDIS for some tea, which they shall. And then the Master's like, "He remind me of all the others," horrifyingly, and which is true because the Doctor's had more girls than guys in the TARDIS, really. And the Master asks, "Do you intend to stay?" Which Allison politely declines the thing. And once they've landed outside the the unit base, the Doctor says goodbye to Allison, and he's about to climb back inside the TARDIS when Allison says, "Wait," and she says, "I want to come with you," which the Doctor is glad of because he's glad of some company. And the Major asks, "Can I come too?" And the Doctor responds with a very funny joke, "Sorry, Major, she's smaller than she looks." And Allison and the Doctor head off in the TARDIS. It's a shame that they didn't then carry on from that, but I suppose it was just a one-off thing. So my overall view of this episode, it's fairly enjoyable really, and it shows the Doctor at his most serious and some of his most funny moments. Like when he's talking about his past, he says Andy Warhol wants to paint all 9 of him, which suggests this is the 10th Doctor. And the Master, as soon as the Doctor's finished recording a message on the TARDIS phone, he's like, "Why did I choose everlasting existence when I had the opportunity of a slow and painful death?" Like he's lamenting coming back to life is a bad thing for him, which I think it is, because who is a torment? He's supposed to be the Doctor's oldest enemy. And so that's my review on Scream of the Shalka. Join me again next time when I discuss a classic from the Tom Baker era, Revenge of the Cybermen. Thanks for watching.